Oh, you're here. Well, welcome. I'm glad you got out of bed. Good for you.
Morning, everybody. I'd like to introduce an old friend of mine. I've been pretending that over the last 20 years, and he really is a terrible accordion player, but I'm glad you all came, because after he found out he really couldn't play, he got this thing. So everything you're going to hear this morning is all stuff that he recorded into this instrument, you see, and he's just going to push a button and pretend he's playing it. But he is the kindest, gentlest, most wonderful man I've ever met in my entire life. I can't.
So you really don't know him. Since you get,
Lenny.
and I'm not done yet.
I think more people coming in. Come on in. Come on in.
Yeah, come on in, everybody.
A handout.
We don't have enough people
Yeah,
here.
but your wife usually has it out from the website.
I think I was good.
Okay. Look on your sheet. Right there. It's demo tune. Herz Schmerz Polka. It's a German polka. Now, the way I played it now is the way you would hear it played on an accordion. Accordion on the right hand, accordion in the bass. Now, how many people here have a rolling? How many have the 3X? Okay. And the 7X or 8X? Okay, good.
I have 12 of them.
You have 12 of them. Okay. Well, my choice for what I do is the 3X because I love the 7X and now the 8X and the things that it can do, but it's heavier, and I do a lot of strolling, and at my age, the weight is important. So the fact that this is only 18 pounds is a big difference in strolling with a 28-pound accordion. That 10 pounds makes a big difference. So I choose to do this. Yet, there's so much that can be done with this instrument that it amazes me. I've been with it now for 2 years. I did it, by the way, where it says how to make a V accordion sing part 1 was last year. That's why this year is part 2. So if you're looking for another workshop, it was last year. So here we are. talking about the 3X and the things that it can do, I've discovered even more things since last year, so that's what I'm demonstrating here in part 2. But I just want to introduce the 3X and how I use it. I use the instrument to enhance the listening experience of the customers. I play in a German restaurant, and this allows me to give them a much more interesting musical experience than on accordion. For a couple of years before I got this, I just played straight accordion, and it was a musette accordion, and it served me well. I could play all the tunes on it, but all night long it was the same sounds. Perhaps the people liked it, but to me, I was getting a little bored hearing everything come out the same. So this opened up a whole new world of music. Now, just taking this same little polka that I just did here, just showing you how you can do little enhancements with it. The first enhancement I would do would be, instead of playing accordion basses, I would come in and I would play a string bass. And instead of making accordion chord, I would add a piano chord. So now my basses, this will enhance it a little bit, will sound like this. So you hear the difference right away. And it does make a big difference in the total sound of the music. Now that's just making a simple change in the left side. And to make that change is very simple. So I just, activated the way they do it on the 3X. There's three couplers here that activate your bass, and then 3 couplers that activate your chords. In the 3X, you do have 7 different basses. Here, that's a string bass, right? And then it's kind of like a rock and roll bass. There's piano. You got a piano in the bass there. That's a real pick bass. There's an organ bass. And you hear that? That's kind of like a rock and roll bass. Most of the time, I would say 98% of the time, I'm just using string bass. Because my theory of playing music is, I'm not a symphony orchestra. I'm a one-man band, and I kind of think of, well, I'm a combo. I'm a little combo. And the people are listening to it, and in my combo, I would have a string bass player. And of course, make that, just a string bass accord and an accordion makes a nice little duo. So you can have that. Now, as an accompaniment, I can add a piano player to the accompaniment. So he does, my string bass player plays, and my piano player gives me the afterbeat. Now, if I want to take a break from the piano, then I can bring in my guitar player. Or I have an organ, or I can have a chord, or even a string orchestra. And then finally, back to the piano. So that's the combination I use probably 98% of the time, is string bass and piano. It's a nice afterbeat, after accompaniment. So when I'm playing...
Quick question, I like all the stuff you're doing, but what about the feel on the pelvis? That's always been my concern.
Well, it shouldn't be a concern because obviously it works. It makes the instrument play. And I have that.
What happens if you go back and forth?
It plays. If you don't go back and forth, it won't play. I have
No,
many.
I mean, going from a regular accordion to a
Well, it's called practice.
Okay.
If you practice with it, you can learn, and of course there's adjustments. There's an adjustment valve on the side here where you can release air. You hear the air going through there? I mean, I could model a lot of bellows movement. Our arms are pumping air for reed accordion. I readjust the valve here and I bring it off like just a couple of notches. And when I get the same sound, and I got all the punch I need from the bellows without all that movement. In fact, a lot of people in the restaurant, they'll stop me and say, "Hey, you're not moving your bellows." I say, "Yes, I am. You just can't see it." And I say, "Here, play a note." And they hit a key. Nothing here. Amazing. See? Just like an accordion. You hit the key, I have to move the bellows. So if I do this, they can tell that the bellows is working and it is causing the music to be played because they see the bellows. They see the bellows moving. I mean, as far as getting used to it, that's a matter of practice and spending time with the instrument. But once you get used to it, it's very difficult to go back now to the acoustic accordion and pump the bellows and work them because I've gotten so used to this. Yes?
Do you still control the volume as much with the bellows?
Oh, yeah, sure.
I saw him do that the other night, and he was moving his bellows more than an inch, but he was still playing pretty loud.
Oh, yeah. You have the bellows is still, it's like your bow and your violin. It still controls all the nuances of your instrument. It controls the volume, the dynamics, it controls your expression, everything. You still play it, except if you have to hold the long note, you don't have to worry about running out of air. I don't know how long I can do this. I've never tried it to see how long I can hold this. I can just keep going until I get out here before I have to.
How long is your session today?
How long is my session? Okay. That's about as long as I can hold it. Good. Okay. All right. Moving on. Yes, Bill.
Quick question. Why did you pick the big accordion?
Yeah.
What's the difference between the big accordion and the 72 bass? Small accordion, I think it's called F1.
Yeah.
Electronic one.
Yeah.
For stroller.
Yeah.
What's the advantage of the bigger one other than the fact that you do have a couple more different sounds?
Yeah, you do have one. Well, I haven't gotten into the 1X yet, and at the time I was looking, I didn't even look at the 1X. I just went between the 7 and the 3 and decided to go the way.
Okay.
It's a smaller keyboard, so if you only have a certain amount of octaves, you don't have the range here, so you have to adjust how you play something
Yeah, you only have 26 keys, I think, on the smaller one. So that is a limitation also. And I do play F sharps and C sharps up here,
Right.
which you don't have in the 72 bass.
Were those left-hand sounds right out of the box? The
What?
left-hand sounds?
Yes, those are rolling sounds. Right, you can plug and play for those sounds. Okay, now, in enhancing the piece now, another thing I do, instead of just playing accordion with the string bass now, I bring in a little background to the accordion, and I do that by playing a string. Strings behind an accordion is a wonderful background. And a very simple switch to combine accordion. combine them together, now you get this out. Now that adds a little more body, a little more depth to it. And then the final thing is if I have a little group, I probably have a drummer playing with me. So I just add the drums to it, and now it sounds like this.
When you put the strings and the accordion together, can you control the strings, maybe make it louder, make it softer? Or make it like it's not coming through? Then you can't make that.
Well, when it's in a dual mode, you want it in your back. You don't want the strings to override it. With this instrument, the level of the strings are set when you program it. But I can go into the computer and raise the level in the program so that it comes out stronger if I want. But I've spent a lot of time in programming and getting the levels that I like to work with. Yes.
You know, I just went from XP to Windows 7 on my new computer, and I'm having trouble learning that. And every time I look at this, I say, geez, I'm never going to learn how to do that.
Well, you know, I kind of felt the same way, but if you take like anything, one step at a time, learn one thing at a time, you'll grow into it. I didn't learn to do all of these things, you know, in the first month.
Yeah, but I don't have that kind of patience.
Oh, well, become a doctor, you have a lot of patience.
That's good.
I hear that there are times when you don't have to be pressuring the bellows and all of a sudden that keyboard doesn't have a sound. And that it interrupts the music. Is there any way of allowing those keys to play without the bellows? In other words, I feel that when you're in between pushing or pulling the bellows, there's no sound coming out of that keyboard.
Well, that's the individual technique. That's like playing an accordion. If your bellows aren't moving playing an accordion, you're not going to get any sound.
Well, in a MIDI accordion you will.
But you can have that fixed.
You can set it fixed so you don't have to use it.
You can have fixed volume, you can adjust reverb levels so that you will have a resonance between the notes without having to rely on an amplifier or anything. You can do that all. But he's playing in a rather staccato and clean method that's been proven to be easier to hear for people like us that are middle-aged. So that's
Okay, moving on here. In German restaurants, sometimes they get used to hearing certain certain sounds, and one of the sounds that they enjoy hearing, and I don't do too much of this, just to give them a little flavor of it, is the real German pa band, and it goes like this. access. This one button turns on user programs. That's been pre-programmed, and it's locked into the instrument, so you always have instant access. You can take the same thing with the program in there. This is a little different sound that's an accordion and a brass coupled together, and it has percussion built in. It's got a guitar background, deep bass with a guitar background and the drum. Already programmed in there. There's many that I already have in here. One button.
Is that Musette?
That's a musette. That's a musette, yes. And then it's another. Push of a button and they're there. Instantaneous call up. Also, I have programmed in user programs where I'll do it without the user program so you can see a demonstration first. Utilizing one of the orchestral sounds, I'm going to utilize the sound of a vibe. And I'm going to utilize the sound of a Musette accordion. Now I can combine the two of them together by bringing in a combination that would sound like this. Now I have to make a couple of switches in order to get to that. So what I've done is I've taken that and I put it into a user program, so with just one button I get the same effect instantly. feature there where you can combine an orchestral voice with an accordion voice.
How hard is it to program and how many user programs are
There's 4 user programs that can be loaded into the instrument, but there's any number of user programs. There's 4 user sets that can be loaded into the instrument. You can have any number of user sets and have them on your USB stick and load them as you want. User programs, there's 10 switches here, and you can put a program in each one. It's very easy to, once you have it set up, you press a button, it tells you want to save it, yes, you tell it which register you want to save it in, and you press number 7 switch and it's done. And it saves it, and it will be there for recall when you want to use it. Plus you can save them onto the USB stick and load different user programs very quickly within a matter of seconds.
So are you saying that you can only use 4, you only can put 4 at a time? When you
4
say
user
4?
sets at a time.
Yeah.
Now, every user set has 14 accordions, 10 orchestral, and 10 organ sounds to it.
What I didn't understand was when you were playing that song and you were shifting the sound, is it because you lift your fingers up instantaneously to do the next thing to get that change in the sound?
While you're holding down the upper voice, play the lower voice. That's the saxophone. But if I keep that saxophone, now it's going to play accordion.
So that's how you're changing it.
It does involve in technique. Holding the, and then of course you can reverse it. You can have the lower part sustain and then play the accordion, the orchestral on the bottom and play the accordion on the top. So it works both ways there. All right, let's get on the user sets there for a second, okay? We'll get into syllables. Table side demonstration. All right, that's just a matter of people stop and ask me, they say, my God, that doesn't sound like an accordion. I says, you're right, welcome to the 21st century. This is Roland's all digital, all electronic accordion, and it has all different kinds of sounds in it. For example, you're used to hearing, your accordion sounds or whatever. All your accordions are in there. But now we go beyond that. We can have an organ. You're going to have to push the organ switch. Now, like I said, do you like saxophone? Oh, yes, I love saxophone. Violin, of course, I like. And then our old friend, the clarinet. You've all been to it. Everybody knows the sound of the trumpet. then
I
I
lost so
say,
much money there, I can't buy an accordion.
and then here's my favorite. I love the music of the 50s. Anybody here like the music of the 50s? Sing along. Shaboom, shaboom.
Those voices are also right on the block.
Oh yeah, they're all built in here. All the sounds are in here. I mean, it's fun. You can play, do a whole setup. All right. If you want to do that same thing and do it with accordion. And then you can join them together and have a lot of fun. So many things you can do.
Same instrument, I don't have a choice.
Now, this is one thing I discovered about the 3X before I decided on it, comparing it to the 7X. My concern was I love the sounds that were in the 7X. And I said, well, if I get the 3X, I'm not going to have those sounds. But the gentleman that demonstrated to me, Alex Kahuli of Music Magic, from where I purchased this instrument, assured me that all the sounds that are in the 7X are available to the 3X. What you have to do is you have to go onto the computer in the edit program that Roland provides you, and then set them up into a user set, save that user set, put it on your MP3 stick, your USB stick, the accordion, and then load that user set. And you have access to all of the sounds you want. I recently played in the orchestra, and I had to have French horn and bassoon parts and some other parts that weren't in my set. So I created some new sets, and I came up with some other sounds. Like, for example, here's the French horn. I created that user set, but the sounds are in the instrument. You have to create a user set in order to be able to access them and play them. All the sounds. It's a bassoon. That's like a trombone thing. There's a trumpet, clarinet, like a bell, like a cello, a flute, right? It's an oboe. They are in the instrument. You just have to set up the sets to draw them out, and then you have 4 user set banks where you can access them.
You change the user sets on the fly? From your USB or no?
Yeah. You can have user sets load on your USB stick and then just go to load user set. For me, that's too much work. So I think with 4 user sets, you have more than enough. I'd probably stay in this one user set 90% of the time. I'll change this user set sometimes if somebody asks for some country music, and I might do something like. to a user set I have in there that has these country sounds. When I go back to the other set, I'm back into the mode I was previously in, and it's access to me. Question?
Can you upload a real sexy voice, like, let's say you're playing something that Marlene and Dietrich would have sung? I mean, can you load the voice in and then play the accompaniment? No, I mean, no, can you get the voice to come out of that? In other words, can you record a voice?
Can I record a voice?
If you recorded the whole
Well,
vocalist.
Can I address that question? Yes.
You can do that?
Yeah, you record Marlene Dietrich's album, for example, in MP3 format typically. Put it on a memory stick, and you put it in the back, and then you can access any of those songs. And she will sing. If she's singing on the recording, she'll sing. If there's a musical background, that'll come out too. And if you want to play along with it and accompany her, so you can say you've accompanied Marlene Dietrich, you can do that at the same time.
Yeah, I'd be
That would
interested
be
in
the
just
way.
hearing her
Well,
voice and then.
remember that this is a singing accordion. This is how to make a B accordion sing. All right. This perhaps will address what you want. One of the tunes I do in my set is this one. I tell people, you know, Elvis Presley recorded that. It was a big hit all over the world. It's called Wooden Heart. I say, I do a wonderful impression of Elvis Presley. Would you like to hear it? And they say,
Yeah.
sure. I say, okay. So I go like this.
Can't you see I love you? Please don't leave. That's hard to do, 'cause I don't have you. And if you say goodbye, then I know I will cry. Maybe I will cry, because I am there's no strength in the wall.
Okay, that just give me that one to the whole thing. But yes, that's your answer, I think.
I'd like a better voice in it.
Yes, right. See, I use this because I can't, I don't have a voice.
Lenny, are you going through any amplification, or is this all just coming out of
This
your
is
voice?
just coming, there's no amplification. It's all just coming from here. Okay, I'm not gonna cover everything I hear, because we did get into some good questions. But I discovered some fun things that we can do with this. By the way, I'm changing my sticks here. See this one here? That's got that tune that was just on it now. Now for my next one, I'm gonna make the change and put a different stick in here, because I have different things programmed on here.
Are you saying you're changing your shtick?
I'm saying changing my shtick because it was too difficult to take the accordion on and off, and because it's located in the back here. So I just put a little extender on there that's connected. So I have my USB sticks, you know, located up here, so I can make the changes very quick without having to take the accordion off. I made the change while I'm talking to you, so it's hardly noticeable. But using, making recordings and then changing them into MP3s and putting them on the sticks is a lot of fun. Here's a, let's see what we can do here. Oh yeah, I turned down the, thank you, yes, there we go. Here's a very simple thing you can do that's just a lot of fun. And, well, you'll get the idea.
That was like playing a duet.
That's why you play, it is like playing, and that's the basis of it, where you're playing a simple round. And people know this song, so you get people singing and joining along with you. But in terms of playing a duet, I also recorded duet music in here. And because you have so many different things you can do, I did it in 4 different styles. Here's the second part to a tune called Pan Polka. I recorded it first as an accordion. Same thing, recorded as a clarinet, so I can do a clarinet duo. Same thing as an organ background. And then finally, I like the string, so I did it with the string orchestra. Same tune, same background, but recorded as a different background. So it gives me the opportunity during the night when I play this to break it up. So it's not always the same. I enjoy it. The crowd enjoys it. You can play the same tune 4 times during the night. It never sounds like the same tune. So people won't get used to it. So if you do it and play it together, I'll do it as an accordion. Very simple, master accordion. Clarinet duo. It gives it a different flavor, different character. Same with the organ and with the string background. It's the same tune.
Lenny, if you have a break, can you just set the accordion there and let it play while you're having a break?
You can, sure. Whatever you have on an MP3 will play. Yes, you could use it
Well,
as
that's
a
a real
background
advantage.
music.
I wasn't joking about that.
Yeah, it's
That's
true.
a lot
It's
of
true. I
times
used
when
to
you
do
take
that
a
when I
break,
played.
everything dies, you
I
know.
played a beer fest hall, and I take a break, and I had like a 15-minute medley of German tunes. I let the accordion play. And when it stopped playing, I knew my break was over. A recorded background.
You're fired that way.
I recorded that. Yeah, I can play it. Yeah, no, this is like, two accordions sitting together. You get that's Pan and Polka by Madeline Fiore. It's a nice duet. You sit there and the two of you play. Well, this eliminates the other person if they're not available. You know? Yeah, I wish, right? Okay. All right, so we're gonna wrap here. I just want to close with. All right. Every time you have a birthday in the restaurant, the waiters, waitresses come over with the cake, and they sing happy birthday, and of course they call the accordion player to come over and play happy birthday, for the people, and then after the birthday, my own little shtick is. I ask some people, okay, when you celebrate a birthday, what do you do? And they think and they say, we celebrate. And I say, you're exactly right.